The question I want to explore today is, what would another country do if it had all of what Canada has in nuclear? Because right now, countries around the world are scrambling to secure nuclear power, electricity, energy security, expertise, and reliable partners. And Canada already has one of the strongest positions in the world. We have the fuel, we have the technology, we have the expertise, we have the supply chain, and we've spent 60 years building an advantage, a leadership position that many countries are only now realizing they need. So the question isn't whether Canada can become a leader as a nuclear nation. The question is, what are we going to do with the one we've already built? Let's get into it. Close your eyes for a second. Think of something you love to do. Maybe it's skiing or golf, guitar, running, chopping wood, I don't know, someone likes it. Speaking in public, I like that. Driving, whatever. Think about what it sounds like when you're in the zone, like when it's working without you even thinking about it. That clean strike, that rhythm, that flow. And now think about what it sounds like when it isn't, whether it's a beginner hacking their way through or someone who's been doing it for years but just like really never, it's just ugly, you know? Or even an expert on an off day. They're talented, but that day you can just feel it. It's not quite there. It's forced. It's tense. It's grinding. Anyway, you don't need to be able to explain the technical difference. When you hear it, you just know. Humans are wired for this. We hear someone doing something and instantly know whether they're good and in the zone or if they're struggling. Are they flowing or are they fighting it? Kids know it. Dogs know it. They'll both give you some mad side eye if you're off. I mean, we all know the sound of competence and we all know the sound of strain. Now, I'm from Saskatchewan. It's flat, but I did start younger enough as a skier, and I always skied. And there was no snowboarding when I started because I'm at that age. But when it started up, I was like, I've got absolutely no interest in snowboarding. Watch a snowboarder get off a chairlift beside a skier, and you'll see why I think that way. You got to sit down, you got to strap in, you got to like struggle to get back up with both your feet locked to one board. I'm like, it's insane. Meanwhile, skiers just poof, roll off the chair and off they go. So in my head, I was like, why would anyone choose that? But when snowboarding was really started hitting its stride, I was a chemistry teacher teaching high school. And every year I would take 50 students to the mountains for a ski and snowboard retreat. It was awesome. Did it on the February break. And my students, all on boards, of course, at that time, had spent years listening to me in the chemistry classroom saying, nobody starts as an expert. You got to stick with it. You will learn. You will get better. You might even end up loving chemistry. So when I said I didn't want to snowboard, they used my words on me. They weaponized it. They're like, Miss Exner, no one starts as an expert. You have to earn it. Maybe you'll learn to love it too. And I was like, rude but fair. So, okay, I learned. I was grumbling. I was falling. I committed again after one time. I was going down the hill. Some students in a chairlift waved their chair at me. And of course, what I do, catch an edge, boom, broke my arm. But okay. Got back up, committed again, and eventually I found it. I like that feeling where you're floating across the powder. It's euphoric and you're just completely free. And like everyone else who's felt it, I fell in love. Anyway, life happened. 13 years went by, not getting to the mountains. Brutal. But COVID in Alberta gave something back to me. The hills were open. You could be outside. You could be free. It was one of the only places where you could breathe, when everything else felt so close. So yeah, I went back, skis and snowboard both. And, pretty quickly after that, I blew out my ACL skiing, which felt pretty unnecessary, but, story of my life. Anyway, next season, surgery's done. My nephew, 10 or 11, somewhere like that at the time, he's on his board, so I'm boarding today. But I'm scared, like not dramatic scared, but that like quiet kind of scared that just sort of moves into your body after something breaks and just stays there, where you just sort of hold still, where you notice you stop trusting yourself. Anyway, it showed. Here I am trying to get down the mountain, sharp, abrupt turns, starts, stops, edge to edge, facing straight down the hill, scraping down the ice. Ugh, the ugly sound that my snowboard makes when I'm hesitating instead of committing. Anyway, part of me thought, okay, Lynn, it's fine. You're managing. You're on the board. You did it. You know, you're getting down the mountain. That's enough. Okay. You were brave. Good job. But my nephew, he's in front of me and he keeps yelling from down the hill. Can't even see me. He's like, faster, Auntie. You have to go faster. It'll be easier. It'll be more fun. Of course, part of me wanted to say like, hey, buddy, I am simply trying to survive this mountain right now. But the other part of me knew that this beloved little 10-year-old was right. And he could just hear it. He didn't have to explain the technical reason. He was like 10, 11, but he knew it sounded wrong. Too much hesitation, too much fear, too much overthinking. And this kid, he also knew the cure. Just go. Go faster. So I did. And of course, the scraping stopped. It got quieter, it got smoother, it got easier, and that floating feeling came back. He was right, of course. Kids are always right like that. Anyway, lately I feel like I'm my nephew watching Canada and hearing and seeing that we just need to do other things because we used to know how to build things. Like I used to know how to ride. Railways across mountains, hydro systems, pipelines, ports, entire industries built here from the ground up. We are not a country that has forgotten how to build. We are not old and washed up. We are just going too slow. And it shows. Stops, starts, courage, and then doubt. No flow. It's like sitting beside a nervous learner driver and you're in the car. It's like harrowing. Every input's a little too late, too hard, too much, too little. Oh, it's just harrowing, awful. I've, been in that car. Or even worse for me, being stuck behind someone who's in the passing lane who isn't going fast enough to actually pass. It's not reckless per se. It's not dangerous. It's just like completely mismatched to the speed of the world around them. Oblivious to the fact there's a line of cars building up behind them. And all of the rest of us behind you are like, hey, are you going to go or not? Canada spent decades trying to build a West Coast oil pipeline. Decades. Like the conversation was first really put out there 28 years ago. And for a country whose economy literally depends on selling what we pull from the ground, that's a long time. Meanwhile, not everyone has to be so slow. Germany, not long ago, they needed LNG terminals after Russia invaded Ukraine. And they built 2 floating ones within a single year. Because when you feel the cost of going too slow, you stop going too slow. And Canada just really hasn't felt that cost of going slow yet. But our workers have, our communities have, investors looking at Canada, they have. Our young people who I work with every day inheriting whatever we do or don't build, they absolutely have. They can hear it. Our hesitation, the scraping, the strain, the gap between what we're capable of and what we're actually doing right now. Canada, we have no flow. My nephew was 10, 11 when he heard it in my snowboarding. Nobody explained the technical details to him. He just knew it sounded wrong. And he knew I used to sound different on that hill. And he wanted the version of me that had flow back. He was young enough and honest enough to say it to me like, hey, just go faster. Don't be so afraid. Canada has everything it needs to carve again. We have the energy, the resources, the people, the land, the history, the expertise. We can do hard things. We just need someone honest enough to tell us so. Hey, Canada, you used to sound different from this. We can all hear it. Like, I think it's time to go. So the Smart Enough take, we all know the sound or the feeling of competence. We know what it feels like and looks like. We know when something that used to sound right starts sounding like strain. Canada isn't broken. We're not out of talent. We're not out of resources. We're not out of capability. We are just hesitating on the hill. And everyone behind us is just waiting for us to commit. So let's be smart enough and go a little faster. I'm Lynn Exner, and we are smart enough.